Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. So it's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild, all his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off, online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free, takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, and with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to what made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and in today's episode, we are joined by a very special reoccurring guest, former professional hockey goaltender and current goalie coach for Michigan Tech University, Jamie Phillips. Jamie has been now on the show 3 times now after today, and he's always a fun guest to have on the show. Jamie spent 4 years playing professional hockey in the ECHL, AHL, and the Elite Ice Hockey League, along with completing 4 years of NCAA Division I hockey for Michigan Tech University, where he is currently the goaltending coach at Tech, and he's entering his second year coaching there. So, Jamie, welcome back to the show for a 3rd time. Super excited to have you on.
Thanks, Jack. Glad to be back on for the 3rd time. Wow, time really flies.
I know, right? It really does. But how's everything going with you? How's this summer been? Like, it's been like one crazy off season again with like things are starting to look a little bit better, but like, there's still like COVID going around and all that. So like, how's your summer been and just everything with just training the goalies and getting back into coaching for your 2nd year?
It's been good. I had school all summer, so I didn't get to coach the guys as much as I would have liked to. I was away for that school, so I had them send as much video as they could, but yeah, interesting times, but fortunately so far we've been rolling here up at Tech. So I'm hoping that we continue to stay open and that we don't get sidelined by that nasty COVID.
Yeah, absolutely. So like, congrats on because you finished your master's, right?
I finished my master's. Yeah, now I am getting a clinical doctorate in physical therapy.
Well, congrats on getting your master's, and good luck getting that physical therapy done.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm gonna need all the luck I can get.
Yeah, for sure. But like, what has been like the grind of school this summer and just like not having that much time? You're just focusing on school. Like, what's that grind been like?
It was tough. So the summer for our physical therapy program, the summer is like a 12 weeks of just like anatomy. So we're in like the
That's
cadaver
a tough
labs.
subject.
Yeah, so we have like the dead bodies everywhere, and we just have to know everything about the body inside and out and how it works in 12 weeks. So it was pretty intensive. It was a couple every day was like an 8-hour study day for me. So it was a pretty brutal grind, but I mean, that's the price you pay if you want to be good at you want to be a good physical therapist. You have to know what you're talking about, and you got to put in the effort. And it's one of those things too, where it's practice what I preach. I want all my guys to be good in school, and I want all my guys to work hard off the ice and on the ice. So lead by example, kind of thing.
Yeah, if your coach is doing it, the guys are gonna want to do it. So
there's no excuse if a guy walks in with anything under an A. I gotta roast them.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, we said earlier, you're going into your second year of coaching at Michigan Tech. So what has that last year of coaching been like with the Huskies, and just seeing the success with your goalies have been having, as long as with like the struggles of like during the COVID season?
Yeah, it was interesting. Like obviously it was my first year coaching at the division 1 level and my first time coaching kind of in a team setting. So there was a lot of things I needed to kind of learn and adjust. And all three guys, I fortunately have them back for a second year, but it was my first year with them and their first year with me. So there was a little bit of like a feeling out period. And like we talked about kind of before the show, like I needed to, and I still am kind of finding my own coaching style. Um, most of the things that I know and what I know about goaltending from when I played was from my goalie coach, Derek Bujan. And so I coach in a similar style to him. That was just the way I was taught. But I need to refine and tweak it because, I'm not him, and his eye is different than my eye when it comes to finding weaknesses. So it's been good. So it's all about development for like myself. And when I get better as a coach, I'll be able to help my goalies kind of be better goalies. And then it kind of just continues, and then we build off each other. That's what I'm looking forward to this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, what's been like the biggest thing you've had to learn? Like, I know we touched on this before the show, like you said, and like, it's like, what is that biggest thing that you learned and you want to incorporate into your coaching for this season?
So for me, what I really want to like incorporate and learn is I've been reading a lot of this technique. It's called like motivational interviewing, and it's not really about interviewing or even that much motivating, but it's just like a psychological way to speak to whether it's your athletes or your patients or just somebody in a way that you're able to kind of connect and understand, and that you allow them to kind of, I'm not even sure how to describe it. You allow them to kind of figure things out on their own, even though you're helping to guide them. So if we're doing a drill on the ice and one of the guys gets beat, like I'm at the point now with these guys, they know me, I know them. I don't want to be like, hey, your blocker, your blocker turned sideways. Say it's something we've been working on, your blocker turned sideways. I want to be like, hey, what did you feel? And then I'm hopefully that answer comes back to, I turned my blocker sideways. And I go, yeah. But if it's not, then you'd be like, he says something else. Maybe that was the issue. If it wasn't, I said, what about your blocker? And he goes, yeah. And then allow him to kind of think and figure it out on his own. That way there's that self-evaluation. And that's what's going to make them better goalies, because I can only be on the ice with them so much. And in a game, I'm not on the ice. If they get beat in a game and it's their blocker turns sideways, I'm not going to yell from the press box like, fix your blocker, square your blocker. Like, I need them to be able to feel and understand those mistakes that they made after the goal, so that doesn't happen again. They're not continuously getting beat in that position. So for me, yeah, open up those lines of communication and really have them self-evaluate and almost coach themselves, and I guide them along in the proper direction.
Yeah, I really like what you said there, and like with the self-evaluation, like when you get goals scored against like in practice, like that's a perfect time to self-evaluate and like see what you did wrong, and then you also are there to help them, like if they don't get it, like go teach them or get them to go in the right direction. It's like, how important is that self-evaluation, like just not even at practice but like during the games, watching film and just being able to like tell what you did there and what you can do better with that?
Well, it's incredibly important for my goalies and for all goalies and all athletes, because I mean, I can only speak on goalies specifically because that's the position I played, but at every level, you might not have a goalie coach at every level. Even in professional hockey, there are some teams, like especially in the East Coast and the minor pro, even a few in the American League, that don't have full-time goalie coaches, or guys are popping in and out. So a lot of that coaching is up to you. And unfortunately, one thing I was really good at was I was very good at self-evaluating, probably because Bujan taught me in a way, like basically taught me the way I want to teach my goalies to be able to self-evaluate. So like as soon as I got beat, like I know what I did wrong. I could feel what I did wrong. And for goalies out there, that if you don't have a coach, it's telling you what you did wrong, like you're never going to know, and you're going to continually make those mistakes. So once you can you work with someone, you start to feel what is right and what's wrong, what's working, what isn't. Then if you make those mistakes, you can go, okay, I didn't square up properly, or, oh, I didn't lead with my chest when I moved. or something like that, and then you can adjust as you go. Because otherwise, if you don't, you can't catch those problems, you're never going to adjust, and you're going to continually make those mistakes, and those mistakes will become bad habits. They're going worse and worse and worse, and it just kind of snowballs, and then it holds you back from getting to where you need to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like what you said there, and just because it's all true. Like as a goaltender, like you gotta like learn when to like learn what you did wrong at those times. And just like especially like because I didn't have a goalie coach till this year, and like I had to like self-evaluate all throughout my career so far, and just it helps you like learn and like pick up on things that you wouldn't, even if you did have a goalie coach, like you wouldn't sometimes be able to self-evaluate like that. But like every play, like you'd have to self-evaluate when I didn't have a goalie coach. But now since I do, like I'm able to mix and match with both of them right there.
Absolutely. And no, you said everything right. Like it's tough because there's only so many goalie coaches that are, if you're playing in the middle of nowhere, in the Yukon, you might not have access to a goalie coach. So when you go to your summer camp or your week-long camp, wherever, like you really have to soak up and be a sponge and to try so that when you go home, you can coach yourself. And so, or you watch video on yourself, you can see those mistakes. And to be self-critical is really hard. It's hard to see one, because we don't want to try to beat ourselves down, but it's hard to see the mistakes we made because we don't see them as mistakes. And so once you get to that point where you can objectively evaluate yourself, that's a really good asset to have. And that's that will separate some kids who don't have the advantage of being able to consistently go to a goalie coach and the ones that can't self-evaluate.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great answer there. I can't think of anything better than that. But but going into like last year a little bit, like what was the hardest thing? Like I know you said you guys got shut down a bunch of times. Like what was the hardest time around there, and just like trying to like direct everything when everything gets shut down, and then you guys come back and it's just like a back and forth action right there.
Yeah. We got shut down a few times, and the hardest thing for me and for my guy, well, that for me is I needed to keep my guys dialed in and consistent, because in the off season, you should relax and you should take time away from the game. And I don't want anyone to ever think that you have to be fully dialed in. But when the season gets close to the season, it starts to ramp up, then you have to get mentally prepared. And then you have to keep that consistency and that mental preparedness for a good 8 or 9 months. And once you get it, it's just like, an object in motion stays in motion. Like once you start to feel good and you start to feel like you start to play consistent, you're getting wins, you're getting shutouts, the ball's rolling, that's easy. But then all of a sudden have to stop for 2 weeks and then have to pick it up, and then stop for 2 weeks and then pick it up. Like that's really, really tough. And one of the guys, Blake Piatala, kind of had a breakout season. And for him, like my biggest concern was like, oh gosh, we're getting shut down for 2 weeks. Like, is his momentum going to drop off? Like, what do I need to do? And what do I need to say? Because we're not allowed to skate, we're not allowed to lift, we're not allowed to be around each other. Like, what can I do to make sure that these guys are in the zone and dialed, so that when we start up again, because we're going to start up on a Monday or a Wednesday and we're going to have to play on a Friday, and we're playing a team that did not get shut down the week before. So it was challenging. So I really had to dive deep into the old treasure chest of ideas. And I went and bought like hand-eye stuff for the guys, like all these different things, just so that they could do it in their rooms. They could do it on their own, like video. We could do Zoom video, just anything to keep these guys like feeling like they were going at, like starting to incorporate like visualization techniques and all those. Just honestly, I had to throw the kitchen sink at them just because I felt like that was the best thing to do. And also like they had to stay physically in shape, and it was a lot. But fortunately, either I don't think it was all that stuff, but they had the mental fortitude to be able to consistently bring it after every shutdown last year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about communication too, because that's all you can do when you guys were shut down. Just listen to everyone, because you can't skate, you can't lift, like you said. You could lift in like your room, like body weight stuff, but you don't have any weights, like it's pretty useless. But besides body weight, but like just communication, just like making sure that like the things you do have access to, like you're doing, like the visualization, the hand eye, like the racquetballs, like you can do that with just in a room. Like it's that simple.
Yeah, and they were good. They took a lot of initiative, and they would make sure, like, you know, the like, since obviously they didn't have access to weights, like they really stretched a lot, like stretched and like improved their mobility and flexibility, and that carried over because, in the season you only have so much time to stretch and lift and skate. And so if they were focusing on like flexibility, they were able to improve that. And or they're focusing solely on hand eye, like they'd come back after the break and their tracking was better. And so that was great because there wasn't a time where they were regressing. They were always progressing at something, and it showed in the way that they played. And so I'm happy with that now. Without, hopefully there's no shutdowns and we don't have to worry about that again. But with the situation that we were given, I think that all three guys took advantage of it, and that's what I like to see as a goalie coach.
Yeah, those guys want to win, do anything they can to win, even when things go bad. Like you just find ways to get better and find ways to stay in shape during those times.
Yeah, and everyone is in the same situation. Like we weren't the only team
Yeah,
to get shut down, and so it was, yeah, it wasn't consistent. Like sometimes we would get shut down and play a team that hadn't been shut down, or vice versa. And that's just the hand you're dealt. So it was whoever was able to. It was really a mental game. It was whoever was able to mentally be ready to play was going to win those weekends, and so that's what we had to hammer home.
yeah, absolutely. So like throughout the season, like what were some of your favorite moments throughout the season as a goalie coach? Like seeing like Blake have a breakout year. I was assuming that's one of your favorite memories. Like what were some of like your favorite memories from that season last year?
There was a lot. Like to start this season, like Mark started off with a shutout against Lake State. I think it was a shootout loss, but statistically, it's a shutout. I'm
The
going to take
shutout.
it 10 times out of 10. Like to have Mark start out on a new team after transferring, getting his feet settled and just come up with a shutout. Like I love that. I mean, I felt good. I was super excited. And then have Blake, you know, then now Blake is chomping at the bit because he wants that spot. Mark's coming off a solid weekend. He only gave up one goal in the first weekend, one or two goals. And then Blake gets thrown to the Wolves against Mankato, one of the top teams in the nation. And we split with them, and he just plays out of his mind. And coming off a year, like his freshman year, where I think he only had like 3 starts, and to play that well with everything he was given, and then to continue that momentum, like that's what I love to see. And then with Bailey, like, it was tough. Like Bailey didn't get any minutes, but what I liked out of him, it was just the way that he carried himself. And he showed up every single day and he just worked his ass off and he pushed those other guys to get better. And that's what I want to see. Like I want to see those guys to be, friends and comrades and stuff like off the ice. But when it comes on the ice, like it's a dog eat dog. There's only one net and there's 3 guys. Someone has to take it. So I want them to be battling and pushing to help them get better because, they need to elevate each other's game because any little bit of complacency, it will hurt them as goalies and it hurts us as a team overall. And so they all brought it, and like Bailey is one of those guys that brought it every time. So each of them had their own kind of ways that I like to see, and that really stuck out for me last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not just one guy that's like doing the trick and like getting wins. It's just one top through bottom. Like everyone needs to be there, and like it helps every single guy on the team. Goaltenders, forwards, defensemen, like it helps everyone to get better because no spot's safe, and it's just you just got to compete for your spots.
Yeah, that's absolutely it. And thing too is like injuries happen, and in the COVID, like with COVID around, like someone can get sick tomorrow, and next thing you know, you go from third to first, and it's up to you to play, to get us wins for the next 2 weeks. So they all had to be ready, and they all knew that was the case in the situation. So every single day they brought their A game, and that has like as their coach, like that's all I can ask from them.
Yeah, 100% agree with you there. Like that, it's great to see guys that do that, and then it just makes you as a coach feel a lot better and like a lot happier. And just when you're seeing that and that compete level and that battle, along with that friendship, and just you guys are all working together to make the team better, all in one.
Yeah, 100%. I know we've had this laugh before, like off podcast, where you talk about like with Mike Albanese about like work ethic and can you teach hard work and blah 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 blah. Even though he's entitled to his opinion, even though his opinion's wrong. You can't teach hard work. It's something either you do or you don't have. And all three of my guys have it. All three of them want to work hard. The amount of times these guys text me and be like, hey, are we going out early? Are we going out early on days we're not scheduled to go out? And I got to sometimes dial these guys back on the ice. Like on the ice, there are drills that I do, like, cause I like to do a lot of like flow and kind of like manage, create like ice movement, like crease movements and ice management, and then get set for a shot. Cause in the game, like, it's not always T-push off the post shot. You're moving, you're flowing, you're kind of like, I want them to kind of see an overload PK. Like there's an overload power play where on the kill, I want them to see that. I want them to move and get that feel, and then, get down with a lateral release on the side. So I need to tell these guys, like, look, you don't have to always be like pushing as hard. You don't have to be grinding as hard as you need to for this half an hour we have before practice. You need to, it's a long week. It's a long season. Don't break yourselves down too early. And that's a privilege, because I'd rather have to like hold guys back from like burning themselves out than it is to have to constantly be motivating, because that just drains on me. Because if a guy doesn't want to come out and work hard, and I have to, it takes energy out of my day and time out of my day just to get a guy doing something he should already be doing. Like, I don't have to deal with that. But fortunately, I had 3 great goalies, so I don't have to worry.
Yeah, that's huge for you. And just, I remember after I recorded the elbow, I sent you that clip, and I love your response, and like that was a good laugh for the both of us, for everyone too.
I hate to feel bad. I hate to pick on Albo too, because he's a good goalie coach and he knows what he's talking about. But we've had that argument before, and the thing is I just haven't seen it like anywhere else. I haven't yet to see an athlete who doesn't like to work hard all of a sudden wake up one day and just start outworking everybody. It just hasn't. And I played hockey forever. I've been around athletes forever. I've spent time in the NHL. Like, I've seen it, and guys either have it or they don't. And so, I mean, if a guy doesn't want to work hard, like, it's like anything. If a person doesn't want to study hard in school, there's only so much you could do as a teacher to get them to get good grades. Eventually, it's up to them. If they don't want to work hard in life, like, everyone makes their own bed.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great point. And then the last thing for this season, like, you're going into year 2 of coaching, like, what are you most excited for, like, goalie wise and like team wise as a whole at Michigan Tech?
Well, as a team, I'm excited. We have some new guys here. We have a good senior class, and I'm hoping that we're able to take advantage of that and really do some damage. We also have a new league. We're now in the CCHA, and so hopefully, we set the tone right, and really assert dominance in that league and be able to maintain that dominance for a long time. And for the goalies, I just want to see consistency. Like, the biggest thing is I want to see consistency from every one of those guys, that when they get in the net, we know exactly what's going to happen. They're going to give us their best effort every single night and give us a chance to win. When guys are hot and cold and like streaky, like, it's tough, because like you just never know what you're going to get. And so as long as my guys can maintain consistency, like, as a coach, like, I'm happy, because I know if we put Blake in, what we're going to get. We put Mark in, we know what we're going to get. We put Bales in, we know what we're going to get. And they all just have to give us a chance to win. At the end of the day, like, that's their job. Just give us a chance to win, and then let the forwards and the D do the rest.
Yeah, exactly. And that's awesome. I want to wish you the best of luck for going into year 2 of your coaching career, and Michigan Tech as a whole. I want to wish you guys all good luck for this season. Hopefully you guys make a big playoff run.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I really hope we do too. So that's to be seen. Fortunately, we had, they've been working hard. They've a little less than a month here before our first game, so lots of time to get ready.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to transition a little to nutrition a little bit here. Like we gotta you're a big nutrition guy. We gotta go into nutrition. So Victorem Nutrition, like give us some updates about that, and like from the last time that we talked a year ago, like how's everything going from last year to now?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. Yeah, for those that are listening that don't know, I own a nutrition company, coaching company called Victorem Nutrition, and it's grown pretty good. It's been growing really nice since the last time we talked. I mean, you can always hope for more growth, but since then, got a few guys that have played in the NHL or playing in the NHL, American leaguers, whole bunch of different like hockey guys, and then a lot of different sports. Like branched out, like strongman athletes, like CrossFit athletes. We have just a really good diverse variety of athletes from all different ages and genders and everything. So I've been excited with that. And it also like, so like everything carries over. So like the better I am, coaching, the goalies, the better I am coaching my other athletes from like how to eat healthy and all those other things. And then how I'm going to be able to help my physical therapy patients. And so it all ties in, but yeah, things have been going well. And I appreciate you for asking. And, the book, the Hockey Player's Guide to Nutrition, has been selling a few copies, and I've been able to network a bit. Got involved with Dylan Kelly's like MSR system, so now we're incorporating nutrition into his programs. There's a whole bunch of different things that I have in the works, but right now it's good. And as the guys have been making we've been seeing the change that they want, and I say they see the change they want, and I see the change that I want from them. And that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, 100% there, and just Victorian Nutrition is going to be big soon. Keeps growing, and you love to see that, especially from a guy like you. Like your stuff, and and you're passionate about all this stuff. So like, it's great to see a guy that's passionate and loves the things that they do, and just it helps it grow as well, because the clients like know that you're involved in this and you really want them to get better, and like that's all you can ask for from a client's perspective, and going into this program that you might not know.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And yeah, like I care about all my athletes. Like I want them to be successful, and not in the way that like, yeah, the more successful they are, the more successful my business is. But like I know what, being a good athlete, I know the doors and opportunities that it can open. And so I want all of them to be able to be the best athletes they can be, so that they can open those doors. And for my clients that are non-athletes, whether they're like parents or just they don't really want to compete, like the only thing we really have is like our health. And for them, that if they want to either look good, better, or like feel better, or whether they just want to get stronger or more muscular, or lose weight, like whatever it is, like I just want to help them get there and help build their, a healthy base, and then improve, body composition and strength. And so that they just feel good about themselves and they feel confident, they're happy. And with the athletes, like I said before, I want them to get where they want to be and give themselves every opportunity, and they don't leave a single stone unturned, because there's nothing worse than be like, wow, like, well, yeah, I could have played higher, but like I just kept eating pizzas and boozing every weekend, and it really didn't help. It's okay, but I don't want those excuses. I want all those guys to just say like, I gave everything I could, and I went all in every aspect of my performance and my health.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. It's like, what's your favorite meal to cook from your nutrition program?
Oh man, I always like to try. I mix it up a lot, because uh, I don't want to give my athletes anything that I haven't tried. Um, Actually, you know what? I guess yesterday I sous vide a lamb leg for 8 hours, and then broiled it. And I had some like just like brown rice and spinach, and it was like a rosemary garlic lamb leg, and it was one of those ones where like you take a bite and you have to smile. And so like I don't want to pat myself too much on the back, but that one was it turned out better than I thought it was going to be. Let's just say that.
Yeah, that's awesome. You love a good lamb, and just like good food in general. Like once you cook something up good, like you can't help but pat yourself on the back, because you're staying healthy, you're eating healthy, and there is nothing better.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like cooking. Like cooking is one of those things that makes you feel good, and like there's a finished tangible product at the end that you put effort into it, like anything, like you're going to feel good and you're happy. And like, it just so happened that the recipe that I used wasn't my own recipe, but the recipe I used, it worked. And I'm definitely going to make that one again.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you do you cook every day from like your nutrition cookbook, or do you just like create like experiments and then just like test them out on yourself and just see if you like them, and then try sending it to the guys in the program?
It really depends. So it depends what I'm doing. Like if I'm eating for a goal, like over the summer, I just really wanted, I got not gonna lie, like I got a little chubby from coaching and retirement. So I decided, okay, it's time to lean up and get, and get pretty lean. So that was my goal in the summer. So I was eating a certain way, and I usually like double it down. So if it's something that I could suggest to an athlete, I'm like, okay, like I need to make sure it works. It works. Otherwise, I'm not going to suggest it. So I was experimenting around and like different amounts of this and that, and it ended up working. But yeah, it depends. Like say a meal comes across like some sort of, some sort of so and so bowl. I'd be like, hey, that looks good. I'm gonna try it, make sure it at least tastes good before I ask some of the guys to cook it. But if I'm in a rush, I usually just keep it simple. Like right now, my lunch brunch is just I put some potatoes in an air fryer with a little bit of oil, and then scrambled up some eggs and with some spinach. Like, it doesn't have to be extravagant meals because we're all busy, we're all stressed, and I like to keep it simple. Just get the nutrients in, get the amounts in, so that you fueled and feel good, and then you go and play. Maybe not for me anymore, but for guys, they can go and play and do what they need to do.
Yeah, you just keep it simple. Sometimes that's the best thing to do, and just the simplest stuff is most beneficial sometimes.
Yeah, 100%. Like I like to add. I'd rather add things to people's programs than like take away. So start with something simple, like just even if it's just like chicken, some brown rice, a little bit of veggies, and some kind of good sauce. You just start with that, and if guys want to get like a little crazy or a little wild, they want to start cooking or like learning to cook, and then you can add in, all right, now we're gonna stir fry it, or now we're going to cook it this way, or we're gonna cook different things that you've never cooked before. And so it's easier to do that than it is to be like, excuse me, here's this 5-star like Michelin meal. I need you to cook it, even though you don't like any of the foods and you're not going to eat it. Like it just doesn't work. And then they'll never build that consistency, and they'll never build that trust in me. So I just keep it simple to start. When guys want to get more advanced, I allow them to get more advanced.
Yeah, love that. There we go. So before we transition, Jamie, go to Jamie for all your nutrition needs. Like he's a beast at it, knows his stuff. So Victorem Nutrition's his company. So just go join one of his programs, get the book. Just Jamie's the guy for nutrition. So there we go.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, Victorem Nutrition, victoremnutrition.com, and then at Victorem Nutrition Instagram. Everything you need. If you're interested, if you have questions, just shoot them. I'm always open. I like to help in any way possible.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to transition into one more thing. So like hockey in the NHL, like this season, like there's been a ton of movement with goalies to different teams that you wouldn't expect, like Fleury to the Hawks, Grubauer, Dreger, Mrazek, all these guys are going somewhere new. It's like, what's your thoughts on NHL free agency from what you've seen throughout this summer and this off season?
To be honest, like I couldn't even keep up with it. Like I said at the start of the show, like I was neck deep in school, and then as free agency opened up, like I would get I would get the notifications, and I'd be like, holy smokes, this guy's got, it was just every day there was like 3 or 4 guys getting moved, and it was just like a, what do they call it, like musical chairs of goalies. I don't know what to expect. Like it's honestly like I don't even know who's on which teams anymore, just because there's so much movement. So I wish I could make a prediction, but I just can't because I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm not like a diehard Toronto fan by any means, but I'm curious to see how that Mrazek Campbell tandem is going to go. I might be eating my words here, but I don't think they're going to be good, because I thought Frederick Anderson was a very good goalie, and I think he went to Carolina, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, and they also got Antti Ranta. So I think Carolina is going to be very good if Antti Ranta can stay healthy. Like they got a pretty solid setup. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting just because there's so much movement. I think the big dogs will always be the big dog. It's like Vasilevsky's gonna be best in the league again. Price gonna be one of the best in the league again. I really hope Bobrovsky has a big season. I like him a lot. He's been pretty. He has not played well since he went to Florida. Probably once you sign a 10x10, then you can just cruise your way to the bank. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I have no idea what's going to happen in the NHL. None whatsoever.
Yeah, I feel that like I couldn't even keep up, and I was like pretty much looking at it daily, and like I can't tell you what team Grubauer went to because he went to the Kraken, and I think got traded again somewhere else. So like it's all over the place. But I'm gonna be biased here and say Fleury to the Hawks is gonna be an interesting team this year, especially since I'm from Chicago, obviously, and just maybe we'll even make the playoffs this year with Fleury, and Fleury can ride us to a Stanley Cup. But who knows? Because I mean, Fleury is capable of doing that, but the whole other half the team have to show up as well.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not a big Chicago fan. I mean, I guess I can't say that, but I was a Montreal fan growing up, so like Montreal is my team. But I really like Fleury, and so anywhere Fleury goes, I want them to be successful. And Chicago did make a lot of good moves. I mean, they got Seth Jones, they got a bunch of other guys. They chipped a few dollars off their cap. So yeah, I do hope Chicago has some success because Fleury is such a good goalie. Everything that went down with Vegas for all the nonsense and for trading him for actually nothing, since that player they mutually terminated their contracts or whatever they call it. They got him for nothing. So I just hope he goes and just has like an awesome season and just tears it up. I also hope Seattle does well. It kind of sucks because they have to live in that like Vegas expansion shadow where if they don't make Stanley Cup Finals, then it's like the season's over. But I do hope they do well, and I hope they have because I want them just the more I'm a big, I want all the guys just to get paid, and so the better they do, and the more expansion teams there are, the more guys can go to the NHL, and the more guys get paid, and that's all I care about. I just want to see my friends make some money.
Yeah, true. And just going through Seattle, like everyone probably expects them to do what Vegas does, but I think that's just a once in a lifetime thing where Vegas rides all the way to the Cup final, and then they unfortunately end up losing. But like I think the Kraken will have a little bit harder of a time, but you never know with these expansion teams. Like there's a bunch of like third, fourth liners on Vegas that came in and just crushed it that season, just made a name for themselves. So you never know what to expect with these expansion teams.
Yeah, you just never know. And I mean, I'm hoping for them. Like Tanev was a guy that I played with for a few years. He's a really good guy. And play against like Drieger, and I just want to see those guys have success. And yeah, I do hope they do well. I would be very impressed if they make the playoffs in their first year. And honestly, like that's kind of what I hope. Like for Seattle, I hope they make the playoffs in just year one. If they win the Stanley Cup or go past the first round, like that's just extra. I want to see them have a little bit of success so that people in the city get behind it and they build a good, solid fan base so that they can just continually be a money-making market. And it doesn't end up being like an Arizona or something where there's always just constant financial issues or why should we be there? That's not a good hockey market. Like I want them to be like a hockey market that stays forever.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100% there. So you said you're a Montreal fan growing up. So like what do you think of Montreal this year and going all the way to the Cup final?
Never in a million years would have guessed it. Pretty bummed out they didn't win the cup. I mean, I didn't think they were going to be Tampa. No one was going to be Tampa, but a little part of me hoped that they could get it done. It was one of those things. Like it just shows that you don't always need superstars to win every game. You just have to play the right way. You also have to get incredibly lucky. And that Carey Price is just in a one game winner take all life or death situation. I'm taking Carey Price. Like, and everyone, because the guy was getting ragged on for the last couple of years, like, oh, he's getting old, like he doesn't have it. When he shows up when it's important, it's time to win.
Yeah.
And no one can ever argue that. So I think for him, and as a big Carey Price guy, I take him any day of the week and just a single elimination for the Stanley Cup, taking Carey Price.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Just you've seen it throughout the playoffs. Like he was the best goaltender in the whole playoffs and the whole league pretty much, besides Vasilevsky. But Vasilevsky, like he had a really good team in front of him, and just like Carey Price, like he took games from that Vegas series and like all the other series. Like he literally did everything to help that team win, and with all everyone saying like, oh, he's overrated and all that stuff for the last few years, like I think that just this season just proved like he's not overrated and that he deserves to get that credit where it belongs.
Yeah, and you know what? I think Vasilevsky is the best goalie in the NHL, and I would take him for a whole season. I would take Vasilevsky, but just for that one game, the guy that's going to steal you a game when you need it, it's Carey Price.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, for sure. So, Jamie, once again, this has been so much fun. I really enjoyed talking to you, and you being able to come on the show. Like I really appreciate it, and I want to wish you the best of luck going forward with this season with MTU, and I look forward to seeing your coaching career evolve even more and just see the success you bring.
All right, well, thanks, Jack. Thanks for having me on. It's always glad to be back. Hopefully, we can do this again at the end of the season, have a little bit of a recap, and see how things went.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'll 100% do that.